What was that? What was that? Guys, I know more than a few people that's going to be in my comments saying, dude, you're wrong. This is awesome. This is great. Really? You look at this NXT, and I'm going to go through the show, and there's going to be a lot I'm going to keep out because it was so brief that I can't really get a good feel for it because everything was just crammed into one show. I'm making it very clear. Yes, Gold Rush is coming. Next week, we're going to have two weeks of Gold Rush. Next week and the week after. And I'm going to briefly talk about it. But look what we got. We got a huge amount of crap crammed into this show. And it was not Shawn Michaels. There is a distinct difference between what 2.0 used to look like and this new 3.0 of Shawn Michaels running it. You can tell the difference. I'm not saying that Shawn's work is great. It's not like it was black and gold for many people. No one is happy about losing black and gold. Me personally, I checked out of it a while ago, well before it was destroyed by Vince because of how the wrestlers were treated. When you looked at all the people that came up from NXT, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Mustafa Ali, when you look at Baron Corbin and so many others, they were either booked really strongly, but it was sucky, booked really strong, and they eventually got over, or never booked great at all, and then eventually left the company. I got sick of it, and I stopped watching NXT Black and Gold. 2.0 came around, I watched it because I wanted to see how bad it was. Now this is 3.0 with Shawn Michaels, which takes a little bit of Vince, a little bit of Triple H, smushes it together, and a developmental where some of it is okay. Sometimes it's good. Very rarely great. Very rarely. It's just okay. But when you look at this episode, what was that? That's the title of this. I'm leaving it like that. What was that? That was not Shawn Michaels' product. You could tell there was a lot of garbage thrown in there. Not saying it's all bad, but you can tell this was not Shawn Michaels' decision to book it like this. A lot of it had to be added on there. It's tacked on. And I said this in the last couple of weeks. Now let's open. We get no video packages from last week. We get no segments from last week. We get no replays at all. We get directly into a match, which is not the way that Shawn usually runs it. You know how Shawn is. Shawn always opens with a recap, kind of like Impact Wrestling. They always open with a recap. There was no recap. It was there, then, now, forever, straight into the ring. And you could tell it was rushed. We got a triple threat. No, not triple threat. You can see I'm getting a little confused because this was like a big mess. We got a 6-man tag. My apologies. Schism. And I thought this was going to be the end of the show, or in the middle. But we get Schism versus Mustafa Ali, Tyler Bates, and Wesley. This is what we got in the opener of the show. I thought it was going to be in the middle. Then, match wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I'm not saying it was a bad thing with Dyad and Joe Gacy. But you guys tell me below. Tell me, did you notice something? Did you notice a Alva Rain? Did you notice that the camera zoomed in on her titties a little bit? Huh? Tell me you didn't notice that. Alva Rain didn't always show cleavage. Tell me I'm wrong. I mean, it wasn't like she didn't show her tits. But when was it so apparent that the cameraman was ordered to look at her and look at her titties? Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. You can notice twice when it was in the middle of the match, they showed her tits pretty substantially. And then once Dyad lost along with Joe, and they managed to get what they needed. You literally, you literally noticed her tits when the segment was over. And then, where did the fucking ref come in? There were 2 refs, not one. For some reason, we got 2 refs. Now, that could be a Shawn Michaels idea. But we got 2 refs. One ref in the ring didn't see the tag between Tyler and Wesley. And once The pin was about to happen. And I'm thinking, well, there's only one way that Schism could win. Either it was a screwy ending or they were going to lose. And I felt like they were going to lose. But if they did win, it had to be some type of screwy ending. Well, we got a screwy ending, but it wasn't for the Schism to win. It was because another ref stopped one. Literally, one ref jumps into the ring, grabs another ref's hand, the one that was working the ring, and said, no. When the fuck do you see that? When do you see two fucking refs at ringside? One that's in the ring and one that's outside the ring. When the fuck do you have two refs? They never announced it. And they normally don't do that, because if they did for the rest of the night, you would have seen two refs. Two. We didn't get that. So what the fuck was the point of having two refs there? That made no damn sense. But the faces won, and then we had the segment in the back that Ali really wants to say he loved that moment with them. He wants to make sure that match they're going to have, because he still wanted West dealing with Tyler for the North American title, which is fine. Now he wants to be the special guest referee. Why? What does that mean? Are you going to screw both of them over? Or are you going to try and make this a really super goody-goody thing? Not saying it's bad, but is it really necessary for this type of match? I mean, only time when someone does a special guest referee is when they know there's going to be an issue. They know there's a big problem between the two, and there is none. Tyler doesn't have a problem with Wes, ever. Wes did have a problem because of how Tyler approached him when it came to Joe Gacy, but they straightened it out. So what was the point of the special guest referee if there's no conflict? That makes no sense. But that's what we get. Next, we get Thea Hall versus Cora Jade. Now, mind you, I like Thea. I do like Thea Hall in the Chase You. There's still no Andre Chase. And you can see that Duke is beginning to feel the crunch of it, because he's constantly grading papers. He's constantly working. Now he's calling up Andre, begging him to tell him when he comes back, because he doesn't want to do it anymore. He didn't realize how much Andre had to do. So we see that segment. Then we see that Thea's still working with Drew Gulad, still working with Charlie Dempsey, still wanting to prove how good she could be. And then we get the Cora Jade match, which, I'm sorry, as much as I love Thea, and I do like her, Cora is just so far ahead of her in character. She just is. But then you wonder what the hell happened to that match, because if Cora Jade is that far ahead as a character, you would think that she would progress herself a little bit more in the ring, and it was freaking sloppy as hell. What the fuck? It was a bit of a sloppy match. Mind you, the one that looked a little better was not Cora, it was Thea. Not even saying Thea was a very great wrestler. She's not. She's still very young, just like Cora. Both of them still need work, but after all the places they put Cora Jade, and how she was progressed so much working I'm like, what the hell happened in that match? It was not all Thea's problem. It was not her fault completely. Cora was just sloppy. In the end, you get Thea winning it because of what happened before that match when it came to Dana Brooke in her interview. And that interview that she had, and they did do a video pack of Dana, and I'm going like, really? They're showing Dana as a 24/7 champion, showing her to go up against everybody else, showing that she's determined, showing that now, supposing in that interview she had, she said that she was asked, I forgot who the interview is, but she was asked, okay, what are you going to do? How long are you going to stay in NXT? She said, I'll stay as long as it needs to be. I'm going to be seen on Raw, SmackDown, NXT, main event, level up. She says she don't care. She just wants to wrestle. Really? You know that she's been told already that we're just going to throw you everywhere. She's a floater. That's what she is. She floats. She has no place. And then we get Cora Jade coming out talking to her and then getting a little smack in the face. and showing a lot of tit while doing it, and that's Dana Brooke. Dana's boobs are like cut down just as though it's Alba Rain was. I'm just telling you, Vince, that was a Vince thing. You could tell from Alba Rain and Dana Brooke how low her bra was, her cleavage was showing. You could tell that this was just something Vince came up with, because by the time it was over, in the match between Thea and Cora Jade, Thea won due to the fact of Dana Brooke interfering, and now Dana's going to be working with Cora Jade. Where, if you're going to be honest, Cora Jade is not a great wrestler. That match proved that she is still very greenish and sloppy. Dana Brooke, I'm going to be honest here. Am I going to say Dana's a 100% trash wrestler? She's not. Can she get work done in the ring? Yes, she's average. But she's never been something above average or excellent. She's just an average wrestler with big tits and somewhat of a personality. And now you're about to put up against someone who actually does have a more stronger personality, but is still green as a wrestler. It is going to be sloppy when that match happens. They're going to have their matches, or match, and it's going to be sloppy. And you're going to see the weakness of Cora Jade as a young professional wrestler, and then you're going to see how Dana Brooke, who's a veteran on the main roster, how average she is. Doesn't mean she's bad, but she's average, and she's going to have to try and guide that match, and I don't think she has it in her. I'm not being rude to her. I'm not saying because she's a woman she can't do it. I've seen it. Sasha Banks can do it. Naomi can do it. The former Naomi, my Trin. Jordan Grace can do it. Deonna Purrazzo can do it. I've seen women do it. But I just don't see Dana Brooke being one of those type of wrestlers. I'm moving on. Next match. The Heritage Cup. Nolan Dar, who did not wrestle, supposedly he's hurt. And Obo. Menshir. I'm mispronouncing his last name because I didn't care about him. Because he doesn't feel like anything. He feels like just a afterthought, a background player, like a Trick Williams is. But at least with Trick Williams, he has shown, because of his gift to gab, that he can be in front. It's just that he's not. And the question is, can he wrestle to go with that gift of gab, with that persona? And I still haven't seen him do a lot yet. So I can't say he can be in front 100%. But he should be on his own to work. But Marshall, he don't feel like anything. So we had the Heritage Cup with him doing it against Frazier and Dragon Lee by his side. And we did get Jackson. We did get Lash Legends. And for some reason, you can see that it's not Lash Look, Jackson is wearing a harness. That's for war, like a gun, like a pouch. Why? Why was she doing that? Then Lash Legends wearing what Lash always wears. Some that shows a bit of cleavage, but not a huge amount, like we saw with Dana Brooke and that we saw with Alba Fire. Not Alba Fire, Alba Rain. And what do we get? First match goes to Frazier. Second match goes to Mansha. And then the third match was a tie. And then the fourth one, due to the fact that I can't remember who the ones that came out. I think one of them was, who is it? I can't remember the women that came out because I hadn't seen them in so long. I forgot. I think one of them might have been, Valentina, I believe, one of them. I can't remember the other one. They came out and messed with Lash Legends and messed with Jackson because they couldn't interfere with the match since Nolan Dar is on crutches and the cup is gone. No longer Nolan Dar is the current champion of the Heritage Cup. It is now Frazier who has it. And I'm going like, really? You couldn't wait until supposedly this incredibly special moment that is a 2-week event, which is Gold Rush for next week, week 1, and next week after that, week 2. Not in night 1 and night 2. Is Gold Rush week 1 and Gold Rush week 2, unless they're going to do another NXT on Wednesday to kind of go against Dynamite, which I don't think so. They're going to do it Tuesday. It's a 2-night event, which is a 2-week event. Couldn't wait to do it there. You couldn't wait to have it on the themed show to make it special. You do it here. And it doesn't feel special. It should have been on Gold Rush, not here. I'm just saying, let's move on. Here's another match that you would think, why? You're supposed to be pushing Daba Kato. You're supposed to be pushing him. You're trying to make him menacing. You're trying to make him powerful. You're trying to make him mean something. You put him up against Axiom and Scripps, former Reggie, because they keep calling him Scripps. And you would expect him to destroy them both. No. He beats them both. Why? You're supposed to be trying to make Kato mean something. You're supposed to try and be building this guy up. And you just let him job to 2 jobbers, as many would call them. I'm not saying that Axiom is a jobber. I actually like Axiom. He's a good luchador. It's obvious. He's a luchador. He's a good one. I like that he does a good style of it. He can talk pretty well. That's the one thing I like about him the most. He can talk okay, pretty well. Most don't. Most don't. Dragon Lee can talk. He's got charisma. When it comes to Axiom, he's not too bad. But then, what did we get after it was over, after Kato was defeated? You got Garza and... Really? You actually let Garza and Roberto Carrillo come out. Destroy these two. Really? You're throwing more of the main roster who are supposed to be free agents on the NXT, where I know many people say, that's so cool. Really? It's sloppy. It's a clusterfuck. You would think they would go after Gallus. You would think they would actually attack the ones that was at that match that had 3 teams. No, it's here where pretty much Scripps and Axiom are not known as a tag team yet. And you just attacked them for no reason. Stupid booking, Vince. Let's move on. We get... And here's the 3 teams. You got Jensen, you got Briggs, you got Hank and Tank watching a match between Blade and Ufi. I always mess up his name. No, darker. Ufi. And good match. It wasn't a great match, but it was good. It was short. It was to the point. And you hear a Booker T pretty much saying these two are going to start having problems. These two are not going to be able to work it out. They were fine. And they had their match. And I believe it was it Blade or Ufi? I think Ufi is the one who said what Blade's actually... Yeah, because Blade won. Ufi said, I know what your birthday is. It's April 14th. He hugs him. And I'm going like, what was the point of Booker T been speaking until he got up after speaking like that and says, I just got something in my ear. And it is about knowing what's going to happen now, because next to the announcement of Gold Rush, there's going to be next week a triple threat for the tags. And it's going to be, this triple threat is going to be a number 1 contender for the possible tag championship. Whoever wins there is going to be number 1 contender to go after Gallus. So that's what we get. Then there's a fight. And then Carrillo and Garza show up again, where they should have shown up there. What was the point of showing up with Axiom and Scripps, who are not a tag team? You want me to repeat that again? I think maybe I should repeat that again. They had the match, Ufi. They had the match, Blade. Ufi says, your birthday is April 14th. They hug each other. I'm thinking, what the hell is the point? Booker T gets up, says at Gold Rush, because it's been announced, there's going to be a triple threat. It's a tag champ. It is a number one contender for the tag championship to go up against Gallus on the next week. And then they start fighting. Garza and Carrillo show up. Why? Moving on. Let's talk about the stuff that happened in the back. Now, I know I could talk about Roxanne. I really think I should leave it when it came to Roxanne Perez and her segment after she had that match with Paxley, because I didn't expect her to lose there. She did win due to the fact of Davenport. I'm not even going to talk about the match. It was about what she said after the match was over. Let's make this clear. Is Roxanne Perez a good wrestler? Yeah. Is her character great? It still needs work. But she's trying to be a tough girl now because of what happened with Davenport. Because Davenport took out, and she did have a vid pack, the Kid Alliance, my girl, my girl, took out Sorika, my girl. I love me Sorika. And anyone else she took out like Wendy Chu, and I think she might almost taken out another person, but pretty much when it comes down to it, she says that. And now Roxanne is taking upon herself to take her on and said she's going to be in pain. I'm like, it's not enough. I mean, yes, the Battle Royal kind of began it, but here, it would have been better if Davenport just came out to interfere with the match, and then afterwards she did something with an interview. I think that would have been better than what she did in the ring. And Booker T is beaming. He's so happy that his girl has grown so much. Well, honestly, his girl has grown a lot, but that segment didn't work for her. Because I felt like her trying to be Tucker. Like that? What? And they zoom in on her like that. I'm going like, really? I'm just saying. Next, we get the answer for a Braun Breaker, which I knew it was going to be yes. How it came about was, okay. When it came to Seth, he had to make it work. And he's going to make it work. But here's the thing. If anyone else is happy to see that Seth's going to go back to NXT, more power to you. But I'm going like, what the fuck was the draft for? I'm saying it right now. I even said it when the draft was coming out. I didn't believe it was going to be that good. I believed there was going to be a problem with it. And look what's going on. Seth Rollins should not be going to NXT. He's supposed to be banned from it. All championships are supposed to stay on their individual brand. NXT, SmackDown, Raw. Only now that they do something with the women's championships. The Raw and SmackDown championship. Raw is now the Raw champion, and Asuka is the undisputed champion. Well, the world champions on Raw, the undisputed champions on SmackDown. What the fuck is that? They should not be leaving their brands. And I have a feeling the women are going to leave their brands as well. It is stupid. Stupid. I'm just saying. Let's get to the final match. If I'm forgetting anything, well, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to wait to see what Starks is going to do because I did see the segment on the Underboss. Damon Kemp with Eddie, I'm going to wait because I don't know what the stipulation is. I'm not talking any more than that. Von Wagner now trusting Stone. I'm only going to say that happened. I don't know how far they're going to go with that either. It was all very brief, and I need to elaborate more on those three things. Baron Corbin versus Dragunov for the number one contender, which was already set up before Gold Rush. Because after this, the night 2 of Gold Rush, which is week 2 of Gold Rush, you're going to have whoever wins the match go off against the incredible Carmelo Hayes. Was this the best match of the night? Yes, it was. The most hard-hitting. And look, I still like Baron Corbin. I wish he was a lone wolf. I wish they would stop playing the Happy Corbin, the music that he plays. I wish they would just go back to his old music. I wish they would do a remix of his own music with something else. Just bring back his own music and make him the lone wolf. Cold, calculating. Hell, let him grow his damn hair out again, even though he's balded out like I'm getting bald right here. Let him be Baron Corbin, or at least change his clothes into something totally different. Now, mind you, he's not wearing the same clothes as he did before. He's not wearing pants. He's wearing trunks. And he wants to make it be a little different, but it's just not enough. But then when you see this match, you can see why Corbin is still a decently great wrestler. I know not everyone likes Corbin as his character, but when he's in the ring, he's still damn good. He is. Deep Six and End of Days is one of the best moves I've seen when it's done correctly. I have not seen anyone do them better than him. Nobody. And it's not the point that kick out or not. He has it done to perfection. It's that damn good. So when I see this match, it's a damn hard-hitting match, which I appreciate. This makes you see that Corbin can handle a punch, because Dragunov, Ilios was trying to bust his ass. He was saying, "You in my show? Psh, I'm going to whip your ass, bitch." Like he owed him money. He hit him hard enough to make him feel like, damn, do I owe you money? If anyone knows what that line means, tell me below. You know what that means. If you don't know, you're in another country. Let me explain. I'll make it quick. The line in America, particularly like in a city like mine, or in Chicago or California, like certain points in California, when we say they hit you like you owe them money, means simply they're going to hurt you very badly, like you're a damn relative, and they're going to whoop your ass like they're a damn relative and make you wish you were not born. That is what it means to be owed money. That's going to hurt later. But that's what we got. In the end, Braun Breaker comes out, interferes in the match. Now Braun is going to have a feud with Dragunov now, supposedly. Carmelo comes out and nails a Corbin, and pretty much he's standing tall, as you see from the thumbnail. But I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to say it again. What was that? That was not a show that was Shawn Michaels. I'm sorry. There's a certain way Shawn Michaels books. And I'm not telling you that it was great booking that he did. It's always just good booking. Sometimes pretty good. But generally it's here. This is Shawn. This was Vince. You can tell from how the women were dressed, how the segments went on. Carrillo and Garza attacking scripts and Axiom for no apparent reason made no sense. It seems scatterbrained. It doesn't mean that Gold Rush is going to be a bad show. It's just that for the next 2 weeks, instead of night 1 and night 2, which was stupid because we're talking about 2 separate weeks, not 2 separate days. Unless it's going to be Tuesday and Wednesday next week, which is not supposed to be. They showed a graphic for the week next week and 2 weeks from now. So why the fuck would you call it night 1 and night 2? That's stupid. Stupid. But this is just me. Peace.